Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's paid tribute to the Queen during a luncheon today at Australia House. Let's bring in Jonathan Lea, who's outside Westminster Hall. Jonathan, the new PM's continued to praise the late Queen's service and commitment to the Commonwealth.
Annalise, he certainly has. Good evening from London and also good morning to you back in Australia. It's exceedingly loud here outside Westminster Hall at the moment. The street cleaners are abuzz around us, but the eyes of the world are certainly descending on this majestic and historic city ahead of Her Majesty's funeral service tomorrow. Anthony Albanese has been here in London for the best part of a couple of days now, and he continues to pay respects and tributes to Her Majesty's long and extensive service as our monarch and also our sovereign. Today he was at Australia House. He was giving a speech to the 10 ordinary Australians who were also invited to tomorrow's service. This is what he had to say.
Even as history continued to shape us and the bond between our nations evolved, as it will continue to do, the affection and respect in which we held Her Majesty remained unchanged and undiminished. The Queen transcended barriers. You could be a Republican or a monarchist, have a whole range of views, but still feel nothing but absolute regard and respect for her.
The ordinary Australians who've been invited, the likes of Dylan Alcott, the Australian of the Year, told me explicitly just how surprised they were to be invited. And while a number of them wouldn't necessarily say they have an affection for the monarchy, they certainly have a great deal of respect at being able to be part of a ceremony where there'll be some 100 dignitaries, more than 2,000 people inside Westminster Abbey, and billions of eyes upon the service itself.
You represented myself, but also just want to get in there and experience it. To be honest, I think I am lucky to be there and want to report back what it's like to people who really admire the Queen and what she's done.
I don't know what I'm going to feel tomorrow, but all I do know is I look at a lady that was a mother and a grandmother to her children and to this nation as well. So I'll probably be attentive on the grief and the pain that we would all feel.
Whether you're a monarchist or not, Queen Elizabeth was the epitome of grace and service for 70 years. So I think she is a phenomenal woman, and I'm greatly inspired by what she has done for her country.
It was an enormous surprise. Still I couldn't figure out, but it's a great experience in sad moment. But to be a part of such history is a great honour for me.
And Jono, the Prime Minister's done an interview with the BBC. He's been asked for his position on Australia becoming a republic.
Yeah, the Prime Minister now has certainly been busy since arriving here in London. He's had his audience with King Charles. He also had another reception tonight at Buckingham Palace with other foreign leaders. But he had an interview today with BBC. It was noteworthy because they asked him a number of times about whether he believed that Australia should be a republic, whether it was inevitable, and he was very careful to avoid that line of questioning, saying now wasn't the time. It was about paying respects to Her Majesty's service. But he was also asked about King Charles's position when it comes to climate change. Now, as a prince, Prince Charles was certainly outspoken about the need to decarbonise and have climate action, but as the King, the monarch and sovereign now, it's his job to step back and not be involved in politics. It's part of the separation of powers, with being a constitutional monarchy that date back to, in effect, Charles I and his removal from the throne. But Mr Albanese said he would be okay with the idea of King Charles speaking out on climate change and climate action if that's something that he was comfortable with, and that would certainly be a break from tradition.
It's important that the sovereign stay distant from party political issues. But from my perspective, what I said is that I'd be very comfortable with the King expressing views about the importance of climate change. It is about the very survival of our way of life, and that's why this issue shouldn't be a partisan political issue. It should be an issue which the world needs to confront.
He might be comfortable with King Charles weighing in on climate change if he's trying to get rid of the head of state at the same time. But Jonathan, what's the spirit of those camping out tonight? It's already getting pretty chilly down our way. How's it at your end?
Yeah, as we say, there's a great deal of action at the moment. The street cleaners are out, but there are hundreds, thousands of people around the streets at the moment who are camping out on the concrete. It's certainly a cold evening. They've got their tents and their sleeping bags. They'll be expected to pack those down tomorrow and allow the swarming mobs to form around them to get their best vantage point as Her Majesty has moved from Westminster Hall over to the Westminster Abbey. We caught up with a few of the people here, and there seems to be a lot of, and I say this with a great deal of respect, middle-aged ladies, women who've come to respect and pay their respects to their Queen. And I think perhaps some of the reason for that is an idea that often in a man's world, she really did stand out and provide an opportunity to be a heroine, to hold the royal family together through numerous sagas, and they really want the chance to say thank you. And if that means doing it tough tonight, well, they're more than happy to do it, as we heard.
We're hoping to see, we're not sure, but even if I don't see the coffin, I'm here. She gave her whole life for us. If I can give a night, then that's all I can do.
It's not very comfortable at all, but I think the Queen did plenty for us that might not have been quite so comfortable at times. So, yeah, just like anyone else, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, Elise, the world is watching. The eyes of history are upon London at the moment. They do the pomp and pageantry and respect better than anyone, really, but it's hard not to be taken with what we've seen over the last week, understanding what is going to take place tomorrow, be it here at Westminster Abbey or out at Windsor Castle. They will be historic scenes, the likes of which we certainly won't forget. And I can say with all sincerity that I feel incredibly lucky and humbled to be a part of being here and covering it. Annalise.